Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Prismata. We're about ready to start on a new ranked play ticket, and we have a Platinum one lying around, so let's get started. J.R. Kirby. A good player, I'm fairly sure. Okay, base plus 9. What is going on here? You probably want to centrifuge into Apollo, right? Which means that you don't want anything super Apollo snipeable. None of the stuff here is terribly Apollo snipeable anyway. But what else, like... Do you just... Maybe you don't centrifuge into Apollo. Like, is Venge Cannon good here? Probably not with, like, Infusion Grid and Arca. Those are probably defensive enough to cope with Venge Cannon, given that there's no other support. I don't understand what to build in this game, actually. I don't think we're going high econ. Venge Cannon should win against that, right? Like, I don't know. This is just puzzling to me. Maybe next turn we drone centrifuge. I don't know. He's probably gonna drone conduit, and no. Really. Red. Low econ red. What is this about? How fast could I get up to like 9 or possibly 12 green? I could get to 9 in 2 turns, right? That'd be a pretty cool thing to do. Or I could build like drone conduit. Just build 1 conduit here. Maybe 2 conduits and a drone. I think that works out okay, right? I'm thinking of Venging to punish this early red, which seems okay. I don't understand what he's going for here. Like, I guess just some Tarsiers before you get to some blue stuff, maybe? But it seems tough on low econ. I'm gonna try something like this. I feel like he can't really afford to build a bunch of Tarsiers against the threat of Venge Cannons. He has to do something more interesting. More... economical, right? Slower. And so his Perforator is sort of in that direction, right? It means he'll get to kill an engineer. Okay, so I should do something like this, probably. This gets me to 12 drones and 6 green. And I'll probably have to build like drone, force field, and some conduits next turn. Okay, so he's gonna get some blue. I was sort of worried about Infusion Grid. I don't know. I didn't really have any idea what to do in this set, and my opponent went for lower econ, more vulnerable stuff than I expected, and so I thought maybe Venge Cannons are gonna work. I'm not sure. They might work, they might not, but... We have 5 and we need 12? We need to have... Oh, we're 1 short, huh? Well, actually, we can make things a little bit more difficult by Venging here, I guess? No, he just builds a wall instead of a grid. And then he absorbs everything. I'm somehow, like, just the tiniest bit short here. If I don't build the force field, he has to actually click the Perforator to kill a drone, right? And then I have enough green if he doesn't click it. But I feel like he wants to click this anyway. He just wants to build, like, Tarsier wall. And then he doesn't have enough to build anything interesting. Hang on. I can just do this. I don't need the force field. I have 13 drones now. and he can kill one, and I don't care. So we venge all up, and that costs us all of our green. And what? I'll have 14 minus 4 is $10. I can only build one Gauss cannon with that, so I guess I'll build an engineer. No, I don't want engineers. I want conduits. Yes, floating this lets me buy a conduit that I couldn't otherwise buy. Auric Impulse, huh? I guess that makes some sense. I might have guessed engineers, but sure, probably you're right. Is he going to be able to cope with 8 attacks per turn? It seems like yes, right? Okay, we'll do this, and then we can build a Gauss cannon and start clicking stuff. Alright, he could deal with 8, but I can actually do more damage than that. So there's some chance we'll get him anyway. Perforators are good defenders, along with the infusion grid, so well done there. But he isn't really able to attack for very much. Should he kill the Gauss charges? I think he should, but I don't really know. Next turn I can click 2 more cannons, which is nice. I think I'm ahead here. But he is getting to build a lot of infusion grids. Is the idea that he's just gonna hold this off until I kill the Gauss cannons myself? It's a little bit hard to believe, but how much damage am I really doing? 12, and he's building... He's absorbing 11 per turn, actually. We're not absorbing. He's replacing, right? He's able to build 2 infusions for 8 and soak for 3. And like he could do that forever. So we need to do more damage than 11 to actually kill him. Although also he's sort of running low on grids. I think he might take this. I just don't have quite enough attackers. And his 2 Tarsiers are going to eventually start killing things that matter to me, it looks like. Is there some argument for clicking this one for some reason? I don't think so, right? Let's compare. So this is the obvious thing to do. And what does he do in response? He kills this and 2 Gauss charges, probably. Or maybe does damage to one of these guys. We end up with the same number of charges, and this has taken 2 damage. Alternatively, I can do this. Then he can kill 4 Gauss charges, and this is still dead. So that seems worse, right? Yeah. He's out of infusion grids, though. That's something. But we're also down a Venge Cannon at last. Which clearly sucks. Yeah, I think he's holding this off with the defenders in this set that I I was a little worried about Infusion Grid. I didn't think about Perforator as a defender, although I usually do because it is a strong defender. Hang on. Do I want to let him kill 2 Venge Cannons? It feels like the answer to that must be no. Is he going to be able to click with everything? I guess if I offer him that chance, he will, right? Right, if I do this, he just kills the 2 Venge Cannons, and it's super, super game over. And if... yeah, I think this is... it's over regardless, actually. I just ran out of steam before I could actually get through all these Infusion Grids and Perforators. Okay, well done. I forgot. I was so excited to be like leaving the game so soon, but I forgot we want to watch the replay. Okay. So yeah, I like Infusion Grid. I was a little bit concerned that that could be a defender bit enough to beat Venge Cannon, and in fact, that was why I said that I didn't plan to go for Venges that game. Because of Infusion Grid and maybe like Arca. When he went for the early red, I said, aha, he's not preparing for the Venge Cannons. But actually, Perforator is a pretty strong defender also. And I don't think he was building a Perforator if I hadn't built my Conduits. He was just going to like probably build 2 Tarsiers. But Perforator is both a good defender and also a way to minimize his commitment to red, right? The reason that I was thinking Venge Cannon would be strong is because red has weak defenders and is breach vulnerable, right? If you like build Tarsiers, you are sad about Venge Cannons. And I thought that by building this Animus, he would be committed to like what red is he really going to build? I didn't think Perforator spam, like it didn't occur to me. I was like, he's gonna build Tarsiers, like that's what red is for. And he has so much red that either he builds Tarsiers and then is like vulnerable to Beach Cannons, or he doesn't build Tarsiers and therefore he's wasting all this red and we have an advantage that he spent $6 on an Animus. But Perforator fixes both of those problems for him. It provides preemptive defense, it pressures me so I can't get too many Venges, and it lets him make use of his red while teching into the blue that is what he actually wants against what I'm doing. So I think this was a really cool way to use Perforator here. Like, this isn't what I expected a red opening to look like. And I think he did well to choose red, which does not immediately look amazing to me in this set. I mean, it does because you can build Tarsiers, right? But like, what's your follow-up? Tarsiers into Infusion Grid is like kind of, I guess, the most plausible thing you could do here. But that seems weak because your opponent can get Venge Cannons, right? Well, no. If he does, you get Tarsiers and Perforators into Infusion Grid. And that turns out pretty well. And he even picked up a second Blast Forge. He I think, planned out how much damage I was doing and realized, well, you know, if I could just build, you know, 2 Infusion Grids and maybe a Perforator, he'll be pretty good against what my Venges are doing. So that was really cool. I was sure he would end up having to lose some drones here, right? Like, how can you cope with 8 Venge Cannons without even like having to defend with drones? And the answer is like, just have 2 Tarsiers and a bunch of defensive units. We ran him out of supply on Infusion Grids, but it wasn't soon enough. If he'd been defending with walls earlier, maybe we would have had a chance. Speedy the Great? Spidey? Spidey? Feel free to finish loading anytime. Okay, base +8. Looks pretty slow aside from plasma fires. I imagine we're going Deadeyes here. And then Apollo doesn't look very good. So maybe you go with like double blue and like, I don't know, it's gonna take a long time to tech back up after all that's happened. And I still am never like totally sure how to I believe you don't build the third engineer here when you want to go for Deadeyes. And like everything else looks pretty bad as well. So because next turn I want to like drone double blast forge. So I don't want to spend any more money here. I could spend an engineer, but I wouldn't be using it, so might as well save the money and spend it on something good instead. One militia was a cute play, I guess. I could build wall militia myself here. Before starting on the Deadeyes. It's probably good because this militia, I don't know, it's going to get a lot of engineer kills if I just wait. So first of all, I guess let's look at this line. What if I just do this and say, fine, kill an engineer if you want. I'll get started on your drones sooner. I think that's what I should do, actually. I think wall militia is a little misguided. The important thing is to start killing his drones. And if I build a wall, he just gets some pretty easy militia value. Here he also gets easy militia value, but it's of a different sort. Yeah, I don't think I can afford to build wall militia here. I think I need to just get to work on his drones and keep droning myself. Okay, against this, I'll get a wall. You got me. But meanwhile, he's not building Deadeyes yet, so that's fine with me. And I suspect that he'll respond by holding the seal splitter and clicking both the militias. So he gets decent value out of these, and this is basically just a wall that forced me to build a wall. But it's fine. I got started earlier on the Deadeyes, and he's going to be over-teched soon. Well, not exactly over-teched, because with Deadeye, you can spend your blue very, very cheaply, but you can only spend it on Deadeye in this sort of scenario, right? So anyway, I expect him now to build a Deadeye and hold all his attack. Which is, like, fine. I think I'm doing well in that position, just looking at the drone numbers. He's a bit ahead on attack, but it's not a huge deal yet. Yep, okay. Good. So his militias are sort of like drones at this point, I guess. And I just need to keep droning. I think I should get another engineer. Yeah. Because next turn, I'll have like 20 bucks. I want to build a Deadeye, is 5, 3 drones. 14. I guess a 4th engineer is just enough to spend all my money. And I think I want that. I think I want 4 drones. Yeah. It's still going to be quite a while before we start attacking each other. Why did I think I would have 20 bucks? I accounted for his Deadeye sniping something. I guess I didn't? I'm not sure what happened. I was sure I had counted that. Well, whatever. Oh. Yeah, I'm totally right. Huh. I'm not sure what made me suddenly think I wasn't going to have enough money. Yeah, so we're getting a lot more income than he is. And we have a head start on keeping him down. I think this is enough NGs. Next turn, we can probably add on a little bit of other tech, like some green, or maybe a 3rd blue? No, it's probably just red, right? You can't use plasma fires very well after Deadeyes. So I think we just want Tarsiers as our attacker. On the other hand, that makes Apollo good. Which previously it has not been. So this might be a bit too much, I think. Maybe I should just add on some more blue and like get... Well, what's my opponent doing is the thing. He's gonna have not enough economy to really go for an Apollo, I think. Or even to add on like red. So I think he's gonna have to be building, as his attackers, like Steel Splitters and Militia. If he builds Steel Splitters, a 3rd blue is quite nice, because Apollo is great against those. I think this is too many drones. I think I need some more tech this turn. I'll have what? He's sniping 3 drones, so that's $21. I could build a few more attackers with this. Or I could build an Apollo, depending on how I feel. Maybe the attackers first? No, probably the Apollo first, if I'm doing it. Apollo is just not that great here, unless he's building Steel Splitter, which I think he could just build Militias instead, but then he's not defending, so I don't know. I think we might actually be getting an Apollo next turn. Okay, well, the economies are pretty similar, actually. Right, I have a lead in taking out his drones, but eventually it's all going to even out to be the same. Or I had a lead, anyway. So, is it Apollo time? Sure, why not? Lets me build more drones. Even if it only snipes 1 Steel Splitter, it's like probably... Okay, if all it ever snipes is 1 Steel Splitter, it's obviously bad. But there's other stuff we can get. We can get Blast Forges, we can get walls if he ever builds them. This keeps him out of red. It also means if he ever wants to build his own Apollo, he has to like commit to it very soon before we snipe his 3rd Blast Forge. Although I don't think we should do that. Okay, Militias, yeah. So he's gonna make my Apollo a bit weak. That's fine. By never building any Steel Splitters. And you know, I was a little worried that that might happen. But I think this gives me a fair amount of flexibility. It takes away his ability to build walls. Oh my gosh, are we plasmafying today? That's a little scary. Yeah, maybe this Apollo, I don't know. I built it because it was a cheap way to get some attack. Or to do something useful with my blue. But... So what if I just do this? But it's not actually that useful. Oh, I can take out his, his remaining Deadeye next turn if I want. That's kind of funny. Save one of my drones. It's probably worth doing, right? And are we gonna see a plasma fire? No. Okay. Walls. I love seeing walls. I can snipe walls. Like, I don't know. You're not thrilled to snipe walls as an Apollo player. Apollo as a 3 damage attacker that costs 13 blue, 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 build time 2 is pretty bad. You want to be sniping something more valuable than that. There we go. Gotcha. Drone secure. I now have too much green, too much blue though. I could click a single militia, but that gives him an engineer in exchange for what exactly? Me being allowed to build more attackers this turn. But instead I could just build like a drone and float some blue. And he's never building Apollo, so I can actually build steel splitters if I want. Which are just ever so slightly better for me because I can defend onto them if I need to, compared to militia. What's he gonna do with his green? If he ever tries to threaten plasma fire, like, that seems pretty hard. I'm not sure what the conduit's all about. Aegis's, I guess. He's just building his militia as income, isn't he? Hang on. Maybe I should do that. Just click all of these. Instead of killing 2 engineers, be able to build more drones, where drones are like militia. That's kind of cool, actually. I think that's worthwhile. And these are drones that threaten to attack, and probably they should attack now that I have 7 of them. But what exactly are we killing, right? A wall? A wall and an Engie? That's worth $7. I think it would be better, especially if he's building a doomed wall, to just, like, not attack. Well, anyway, on the turn the doomed wall is dying, we shouldn't attack. And to that end, we'd like to have militias available. Militias kind of deny him the option to build doomed walls, which is the thing he wants to do instead of wall, since we have Apollo. Right, because on the doomed wall turn, we can just harvest all the militias. On turns leading up to it, we can do either. Okay, so I think this is for Aegis's, is what this is about. All this green. I don't think Plasma Fire is gonna do that great for him, but maybe it would. It's a thing to think about. But, like, what can I do about that? He's built enough conduits that I can't snipe this. I think that was on purpose. We should probably attack with these. Should we? Out of drones. Okay. Could get a conduit. which would be basically just for force fields and Aegises. I could build a Plasma Fire, I guess, but the timing for it is not very good. I'm still not sure. We kill Wall NG, and it gives us the chance to build Wall NG instead, or a Militia. I think I will attack. I don't have a clear reason for why that is the decision that I made. It makes it harder for him to threaten Plasma Fire, because he has to build more defense, I guess. But I don't know how impactful that is. Now here, though, I think we are holding the Militias 2 turns in a row. Because otherwise he can lose one Doomed Wall onto the other Doomed Wall and get actual value out of them. What am I sniping here? Conduit? Drone? Apollo sucks. I don't know, it's stopping him from building walls. Let's get a conduit here, I guess. And I can build a doomed wall. And steel splitter. Like, those are all things that are available to me. I guess a Gauss cannon's okay. Except next turn we don't want to attack. That's the thing. Right? So maybe I just build a regular wall as well, sort of preemptive defense. And a Animus? No, build another conduit. I don't think I can spend all of my blue and build Tarsiers. And like, I don't think it's worth investing in Tarsiers when I could just like, okay, here comes the Plasma Fire. So he's ready to start attacking now. Oh yeah, this Doomed Wall was a little bit silly. He has the same militia stuff going on I do. I forgot. Like, the fact that he doesn't have Apollo means I can build Wall. It doesn't mean like the Doomed Wall is good. His militias still deny that value, but does he really want to click Plasma Fire when I have a Doomed Wall up? I don't know. No, he wants to build a second Plasma Fire is what he wants to do. On the other hand, I can build a Plasma Fire myself. If I want. And it seems like that ought to make it hard for him to build his own, right? Take out a Blast Forge. And then he has what? 6, 10, plus a Dying Doomed Wall. I'm threatening more than that, so he can't just spend all his entire source of blue on another Plasma Fire this way. Yeah. Running out of time. This is a long game. Deadeyes do that. I guess he couldn't really spend his 2 blue while getting a Plasma Fire anyway. Okay. I'm not sure exactly what he saw that meant I was winning. But I'm glad that he saw it. it felt like I was in an okay position. Like, I had good responses to the things he could do, but I don't know exactly what those things were or what my responses were. I was just sort of up in attack, I guess. Anyway, there's a new thing added, which, as you guys know, I record these in advance, so I have a buffer, and, like, I don't know. This feature probably went live a couple weeks ago or something for you guys, but for me, it's my first time seeing the rating plus 13. How nice. And a pooch reported in Discord, by the way, that if you wait for, like, 2 minutes, this thing goes off center. I'm not going to do that, but apparently, I was watching the stream when Elliot added this feature, and he had a bunch of struggling figuring out how to get this centered properly, and he finally got it. And it was just so hilarious that it turns out there's actually some bug where if you sit at the victory screen long enough, this text uncenters itself. Wow, what a graph, huh? He attacked me once and then went back to not attacking, and likewise... Or no, I attacked him once and then went back to not attacking. And it looked fairly similar. I don't know. So, I think it's clear that this is a Deadeye set. I like his militia opening. It's kind of cool. To make me not really want to build a Deadeye. Could I have done something similar? I mean, I could have, right? But that would have meant, like, cutting a blast forge, building another drone, and, like, then his militia is still getting value against me. I think I made a reasonable choice to get out the first Deadeye as soon as I could, since he seems to be going relatively low on econ. And then, like, if he really commits hard to building attackers, fine, I can respond. And then we just sort of went into this, like, Deadeyes and drones thing that happens in a Deadeye mirror. Is like, nothing happens except everybody builds Deadeyes and drones until you're out. And this Blast Forge was questionable. I really don't know what the right next tech to add is. I feel like if I build red, my opponent can probably counter with an Apollo of his own and snipe Tarsiers, and that's, like, pretty good value for him. Plus, I would lose the militia ability of, like, denying him absorb if I have Tarsiers attacking. So I think that Tarsiers would be the wrong idea. A conduit, like, is never wrong when Aegis is in the set and Plasma Fire is also there as a threat. And maybe I should have just done that. It was sort of hard to spend all of this blue. But I don't know, like, I got the Apollo and it was sort of useful. It saved me a drone. It killed a Steel Splitter. It made his tech a little bit awkward. And also it made his defense poor, right? If I didn't have the Apollo, he wouldn't have built the Doomed Wall, right? He would have just built a regular wall, I think. But he built this to prevent me from to have something I couldn't snipe. However, I was able to react by, like, holding militia. This turn when I attacked, I'm not sure about. It gave him, I don't know. Like I said, it sort of came out about even, right? In, I destroyed 7 gold worth of resources for him in exchange for not getting 7 gold myself. And so from that point of view, I think it's a question of tempo. Which one of us needs... Do I want the game to go faster or slower? If I want the game to go faster, I should attack with the militias. If I want it to go slower, I should hold them. I kind of wanted to put a little bit of pressure on him so that it was awkward for him to build a Plasma Fire, which is what he looked like he was trying to do. And I was also concerned that, like, on the next turn, I was going to want to hold my militias. Like, for 2 turns in a row. to deny this Doomed Wall the value when its lifespan was 0. And I was worried that if I held my militias this turn, as well as the next 2 turns, I'd have too much money and nothing to spend it on. Like, I don't know if that was right, but that sort of made me think, okay, I might as well get the attack value in now, since the next 2 turns it'll be especially bad. Yeah, he built another Doomed Wall, which I think was an attempt to lose this first Doomed Wall earlier, before it was on lifespan 1. But I can just deny attack twice in a row. Or decline to attack, I should say, denying absorb. What did my Apollo snipe that turn? A conduit. And yeah, I don't know about this. I guess he wants to build some Doomed Walls or something. I was thinking of using this to deny him the Plasma Fire. Actually, right. He could have as much as 23 bucks next turn if he wants. In which case, like, Plasma Fire Doomed Wall is a possibility for him. This denies that. On the other hand, to do that, he's like holding back the Plasma Fire and all the militias, which might be an okay play for him. I do have a Doomed Wall that's eventually going to die off, right? I don't know. But I'm just like ahead in attack, and I have this Apollo, and I have more economy if we decide to go that way. His advantage is that he's a little, like, he has a tempo against me with Plasma Fires, but I have enough actual attack to outweigh the Plasma Fire, so like, even if you throw away my Plasma Fire, we're about tied on attack. And he's spending a drone while I'm not. So I don't know, this feels okay. I think I'm winning here. I don't know exactly what he was seeing me do that was made this the time to resign. I think there might have been some chances for me to make a blunder, but I guess like the Doomed Wall's dying kind of sucks. I can continue holding Plasma Fire and let this Doomed Wall die as well. Probably a good thing to do. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, our rating went up by 3, I'm told, according to that new info box pop-up thingy. And that makes our 2 games for the episode. We're creeping up ever so slowly on rank 100. It would be nice. But don't count your chickens before they're hatched. Maybe I'll be ranked 200 tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.